was a kid, I can remember going with Dad to drop off the trash payment, like the garbage collectors. A couple of things about that. When we were younger, especially in the summertime, we had two friends that would come over to our house because their parents would work and my dad was staying home. And so they would come over in the mornings and we'd get up, and the first thing we would do once a week was go and watch the trash men collect the trash. We had this big picture window in our dining room that overlooked the driveway. And we just, as soon as we heard them playing the beeping sound to back up, we'd run down and go look out the window. But we'd never open the curtains. We'd like spy on them. And once in a while they'd see us, and they probably always knew we were there because we weren't that sneaky as kids. But we'd watch them just collect the trash, and we thought it was the most hilarious thing ever. Not the fact that they were doing it, but just the fact that we could be sneaky about it and spy on them while they were out there dumping trash cans. And it's just a local small town collection service, sanitary service. But this is one that we still have today. Mary Jane and I employ the same service for our house. And so you have to pay them every other month. And that's what we do. And there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can write a check and put it in the mail. Or, and this is what I remember doing with Dad, you can drive to the owner's house, and on their front porch is an old milk box or mailbox or whatever you want to call it. And you just drop your check in there. In an envelope, not in an envelope, it doesn't matter. You just drop your check in there with the company's name on it and the amount that you're paying them, and you leave it. And they've done that for years. Like I said, I can remember driving with Dad and going to this house and being so nervous to walk up on this person's porch and open the box and put the check in there. And it's, to me now, it's just the coolest thing that it still exists. That people are still trustworthy enough to walk up there and put the payment in the box. I mean, it's so cool. And so that's what I just did this morning before I left. I had to go and drop that off. I forgot to do it yesterday when it was due. So I did it first thing this morning. I opened the box, and there's probably 30, 40 checks in there in the bottom of this box. Not in envelopes, just sitting there. And I just think that's a real testament to the small town community that a lot of places are getting away from. And I enjoy it. I think it's a really neat thing to still happen. Now, obviously, it's not the same people that own it. I'm pretty sure it's the grandson of the people that when I was younger and dropping off the checks, I think it's the grandson now that lives there. But it's just the neatest thing. And like I said, it's truly a staple of a small town community that, I'm just going to walk over to the owner's house and, it's like going to the doctor's house in old-timey West. Hey, doc, here, get a finger looked at, or, whatever it may be. You go up to the person's house, and I'm really trying to make more of an effort now that we're in a community setting like that, is to be more present in the community, be more interactive with my neighbors, and kind of lead this charge of getting back to what small towns used to be. There's not much of that anymore. At least not that I observe. There may be other small towns elsewhere that are more like that, but here in ours, it's kind of like who can close the garage door fastest after you pull in, or how high can you build your privacy fence without it looking like you're trying to shut the world out. There's a disconnect. I mean, you still say hello to people when you walk in the store, but it's not like you stop and talk for hours, or know them by name, or sit on the front porch and just wave as every single person goes by. Now, I will say, when I'm out, it's been a very slow process because it's something that I'm trying to work toward as well, because it is a learned trait that a lot of people have unlearned or never learned. But when I'm mowing the grass, I make it a point to wave as every person walks by or drives by. Shouted to our neighbor yesterday on our way to church, or Monday or Sunday on our way to church. Happy Mother's Day. She was cleaning the front windows of her house. It's a slow effort, but it's a necessary effort to get back to being part of a neighborhood and a community lifestyle that people can feel comfortable being out in public. I don't think people are comfortable doing that anymore. They're like, oh, I gotta go and watch my show or bathe my dog, whatever it is. And kids are learning this too. You see fewer and fewer kids outside riding bikes or playing in the front yard or at the playground. We were at the playground on Sunday afternoon after church and saw nobody. 0 people. It was a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Now, yes, it was Mother's Day. So, but it was later in the day. I say after church, but we put Ellie down for a nap, and she slept until probably about 2:30. Mary Jane had eaten lunch. When Ellie got up, she ate lunch, and then we left around 3 o'clock, 3:30. So it was later in the afternoon. It wasn't like people were still out to eat or anything. But it was a beautiful Sunday afternoon to be at the park, and we saw nobody at the first 2 playgrounds we went to. By the time we got to the third one, there was 2 other small families. There was a dad and his 2 daughters, and a parent, or 2 parents, and their 2 boys. No, boy and a girl. But that was it. I mean, an absolutely gorgeous day to be outside and play and have fun at the park. We were riding our bikes around town too, and all you ever see anymore is people driving everywhere. They just get in their car and drive to the store, or they drive to church, or they drive to wherever. If you're close enough, walk. It's exercise and it's more personal. But we start to feel vulnerable and like we can't connect, and so we close ourselves into these little boxes and shut off from the world. If we were more connected as people, we'd be more connected as a community, and we'd be more connected as a government, and we'd be more connected as a country. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's a lot harder to build up toward than it was to tear it down, but I think it's something that is necessary. So think about it, work on it, try to be more present in your community, and see what the results are. I'll see you this afternoon.